myself Dr. Pallavi Railavhale and I am teaching you Pharmacognosy BP 405T Unit 4. We are discussing the role of pharmacognosy in various systems of medicine and we have already discussed about allopathy, Ayurveda, Unani and Siddha system of medicine, and in this lecture we will be discussing the remaining two system of medicine, that is homeopathy and Chinese system of medicine. So, to begin with, we will go on the same lines of understanding the different systems and understanding their role in the role of pharmacognosy in these systems. So, if we talk about homeopathy, the name homeopathy, as we have discussed it, allopathy meant the different drugs when they are used for the treatment of a particular disease. Homeopathy means that we have, it means homos plus pathos. Homos means similar and pathos means treatment, means when the treatment is done using drugs of similar property, we call it homeopathy. And the person who has developed this system of medicine and is considered to be the father of homeopathy, he is Dr. Samuel Christian Frederick Hahnemann, and he was there till 1755 till 1854. He was a German physician, chemist and a pharmacist. He had given the main law of healing which states similia similibus curantur, which means literally likes are cured by likes. I will be discussing this law of healing shortly. So, basically homeopathy is based on different principles and if we enumerate them, they come out to be 9 different principles of homeopathy. So, if I start with the first law, that is law of similia, which is also known as the law of healing, it states similia similibus curantur. It means likes, let likes be cured by likes. So, this concept is states that, please understand it very properly, because this is the main difference between Ayurveda and homeopathy or allopathy and homeopathy. That is that in case a healthy individual is given a substance and that substance is able to elicit a type of a reaction in that healthy patient, it means that in case a person who is suffering, a patient who is suffering from that condition can be treated from this same substance. Okay. For example, if a person who is healthy, he ate something, okay, and his stomach started aching. Okay. Now, another person comes in who is suffering from stomach ache. So, homeopathy says that that substance which was given to that healthy patient and it led to the stomach ache will be able to treat this person. Okay. So, this is the concept of let likes be cured by likes. The concept which I feel is that because the patient is getting the drug and we know that the drug has the ability to reach that receptor because it is eliciting that problem in a healthy patient. Maybe if we give it in a very reduced concentration, it has the capacity to reach to that particular receptor and show the effects. Okay. So, this is the law of similia or healing. So, in this art of healing, the medicine administered to a diseased individual is such that if it is given to a healthy person, it produces same suffering or diseases that are found in the diseased individual. Thus, the symptoms of the diseased individuals are to be matched with the pathogenesis of the medicine, and the medicines which are most similar with similimum, they are selected and administered with certainty to cure. So, they will certainly cure if we check that yes, its pathogenesis says that this medicine leads to a particular problem, then that particular problem will be treated by this particular substance only. So, this is a concept which is completely different from Ayurveda or allopathic system. Okay. The second law is the law of simplex. Homeopathy says that we should have very simple and generally single drug should be prescribed at a time. It is not that we should have multiple compounds which are given together. It is completely different from Ayurveda. In Ayurveda, generally the formulations are mixture of minimum 30-40 ingredients on a general basis. But here it is said that it can be maximum 1, 2 or 3, not more than 3. That is the best simple medication that has to be given to the patient. So, simple and single drugs should be prescribed at a time. Thus, medicines are proved on healthy human beings singly and in simple form without admixture of any other substance. Then the law of minimum. We should administer the drug in a minimum quantity. We should reduce it many times and it should only have the sensitivity to reach to the receptor and show it effects. You must have heard that people say homeopathy takes a lot of time to show it effects. Yes, it takes a lot of time to show it effects, but because this is given in very less dose, it takes enough time for the drug to reach to that receptor. However, because it is reaching to the main cause of the disease, you will find that generally those who are following homeopathic medicine, those who take treatment by homeopathic medicine, the treatment goes on for 6 months, 9 months, 2 years. But once they have completed the treatment, that disease will never come back to those individuals. Okay. The reason is that it is slow and steady release, that is why. So, here the drugs have to be administered in minimum quantity because of hypersensitivity in the disease, and the action of drug is always directed towards normal by virtue of altered receptivity of tissue to stimuli in disease. Okay. So, we have to try and keep the entire body normal, only minimum drug has to reach to that particular receptor. The medicines are just required to arouse a reaction in the body. A small reaction has to be aroused in the body. If they are given in large doses, they cause physiological action producing unwanted side effects and organic damage. Now, third is the drug proving. Now, whenever a drug has to be given to a person, we should know the pathogenesis of that herb. That is drug proving. We should have enough information in terms of any written data or literature or a person who has followed it properly, only then we can give the drug to the formulation. So, to apply drugs for therapeutic purpose, their curative power should be known. And the curative power of a drug is its ability to produce disease symptoms which are employed on a healthy person. The curative power of a drug is known by its pathogenesis and is ascertained by proving the drug singly or healthy human being. Now comes the drug dynamization or potentiation. See, it is not fixed that a single dose will be given to a patient. If we even two twins go to a doctor for a similar problem, the doctor will always analyze those two people as a separate entity and the drugs which will be given to those will be different. Okay. So, here the dose as well as the drugs which are given to the patients, they are of different concentrations. And to do that we call it drug dynamization. So, to have the dynamic action, okay, or we have the when there is a dynamic disturbance in the life source, we have to change the concentration of the drugs. So, in case we have insoluble substances, we will do trituration in a mortar pestle, and in case they are soluble substances, then we will do the dilution, means like we will be mixing it in certain liquid substances, or you can say hydroalcoholic mixtures can be prepared, where generally if we are talking, we generally use the tinctures in case of homeopathy. So, these tinctures, they are the hydroalcoholic extracts. So, these tinctures are diluted in those hydroalcoholic substances only. So, we can do the drug dynamization either by trituration in a mortar pestle or drug dilution where we mix it in the diluents or liquid diluents. So, how is this drug dynamization done? So, there are three ways in which the drug dynamization is done. The first is known as the decimal scale. Okay. So, decimal scale means, like if we, this is my the original stock solution, I will call it the original stock solution, and if it is prescribed in the prescription, that it is on a decimal scale. So, if it is 1x, 1x means that it is 1 times soluble. Here decimal means that we are going to dilute the solution 10 times. We will take one part of the stock and dilute it 10 times. In that case, it will become 1x. If it is 2x, means we have to dilute it 1/10, and again this solution will be further diluted to 1/10, that comes out to be 1 by 100. So, it will become 1 by 100 times dilution if we go to 2x. So, this decimal scale, it is denoted by x. Okay, as you can see, it is denoted by 1x, 2x and so on. So, it will go on multiplying, like 1x will be further diluted to 2x. So, 1 by 10 multiplied by 1 by 10 becomes 1 by 100 and so on. The second one is centesimal scale. So, here this centesimal scale is generally denoted by C, and if it is written 1C, means our stock solution is diluted 100 times. Okay. If it is 2C, then it will become 1 by 1000 times. Okay. This is, it will be 1 by 10,000 times, 1 by 100 multiplied by 1 by 100 and so on. So, I can say if I correlate, 2x can be equated to 1c. Okay. So, this is how the prescription, the person who is writing the prescription, he can either write it in the decimal scale or he can write in the centesimal scale. If we talk about the third one, that is the millisimal scale, here dilution is 1 by 50,000 of the original drug, and either it is denoted in by the Roman numericals of 1, 2, 5, 10 etc., or it is written as 0 by 1, 0 by 2, 0 by 5 or 0 by 10. So, 0 is the main you can say denotion, and below that whatever number is written in the denominator, that becomes the type of dilution. So, millisimal scale is the most dilute form of the formulation. So, again just this point is very important, because you have to understand that drug dynamization is done either by trituration if it is a solid substance, or succession, that is diluting it in liquid if it is a liquid material. The dilution pattern is either the decimal scale by 1/10 dilution is there, centesimal scale by where 100 dilution is there, or millisimal scale where we denote it by 1 to where the dilution is 1 by 50,000, and we use the Roman numericals or we use the ratios like 0 by 1, 0 by 2 etc. Now, the next point is vital force. So, vital force according to homeopathy, it says that every individual has some kind of spiritual energy which keeps them going. Like we feel, if we see someone, we said that we get very good positive vibes from that person. Okay. So, he is having a positive vital force in him, but some people are very negative. So, they have a negative vital force in them. So, homeopathy says that every individual should have that vital force which allows the body to run in a healthy direction. So, disease is nothing but the disharmonious flow of the vital force giving rise to abnormal sensation and functions. In order to restore the health, the disordered vital force is to be brought back to normal. Disease and health are two different quantitative states of the vital force of living beings, and cure is to be affected here. Vital force has the following characteristics, like it is spiritual, autocratic, automatic, dynamic, unintelligent and instinctive. It does not think, it feels basically. Then acute and chronic diseases. The diseases, they are classified in their two types, whether it is based on their onset, nature of progress and termination of diseases. So, if a person is having a acute problem, a small short term problem, a simple say he has twisted his wrist. So, that is a timely therapy which will be treated very soon. But if a person, if he is suffering from diabetes or any kind of skin infection which has been there for long term, okay, like psoriasis, so there the treatment is chronic, the disease is chronic and the treatment is also chronic or long term. So, a practitioner has to decide whether this is a acute disease or a chronic disease, and after that he will be treating the person. Then individualization. So, as all the traditional systems generally do not keep a person as a you can say a crowd, they consider them individuals. Okay. So, when we talk about individuals, no two individuals are alike in this world. We know that our DNA, our genes are different, and in modern times we are going towards genomic therapy. So, here why not to treat these people individually. So, because of the different traits in a particular individual, the treatment should also be individualistic. That is the concept in homeopathy. No two individuals are alike in the world. So, the disease affecting the individuals can never be the same, assuming the unique individual picture in each diseased individual. This medicines can never be prescribed on the basis of the name of the disease without individualizing the case of the disease. The next is direction of cure, and this law was given by Dr. Herring, who is also Dr. Constantine Herring, who is also very famous homeopathic practitioner, and he has stated that cure takes place within outward from above to downward, and the symptoms disappear in the reverse of their appearance. Like if a disease is leaving the body, it will leave the body in the same order in the way it has entered the body. So, if while like we have cold, initially our throat starts aching, then there is a runny nose, then we have cough, etc. So, when it is leaving the body, it will be in the reverse direction only. So, lastly you will have the pain in the throat. Okay. So, that is the direction of cure. So, these are the 9 different laws of homeopathy, and the formulations which are prepared in homeopathy, they are the tinctures, and because they are dealing with numerous herbs which are generally of the nature of basically alkaloids. Okay. Generally alkaloids, glycosides are used, and they have very narrow therapeutic index, okay, means they are very poisonous in nature. So, a pharmacognostist role becomes important in understanding these raw materials, how they have to be collected, how they have to be processed, how they have to be prepared, and their quality control as well. So, there the role of the pharmacognosist comes into picture. Now, we move to the next system of medicine, that is the Chinese system of medicine. So, this system of medicine is, you can say, like Ayurveda is one of the oldest system in India. Chinese system of medicine is also considered to be of the similar age only, and in China it has been a practice that generally the emperors only used to practice the systems of medicine, or giving treatments was a right of the emperors only. We have studied this in unit 1 in the history of pharmacognosy, that how the Chinese system of medicine gave the various drugs, 365 drugs as the emperor drugs, the servant drugs, and the minister drugs. Okay. So, we know that it is a very stabilized and well known system of medicine which is accepted worldwide. However, we will understand the basic concept of this Chinese system of medicine today. So, the first herbal classic was written in China by the Qin dynasty, and basically it told about the, it is also called the agricultural emperor's materia medica. The plants which have been discovered by Chinese system of medicines are Ma Huang. Then they also discovered many other formulations which can be used for treating various ailments, which act as herbal tonics and rejuvenators. The Chinese system of medicine, it is based on the concept of yin and yang therapy. So, it is similar to the sympathetic and the parasympathetic system in our body, as we studied in anatomy, that the sympathetic system, it increases the heart, it increases the blood pressure. Same way parasympathetic system, it reduces the heart rate and the blood pressure. So, here yin and yang, they are the opposites and work in a collaboration to create balance in the nature, also in the humans. So, yang, it represents the force of light and yin represents the forces of darkness. It underlies everything in the creation. It brings about the development of parenthood. It is the root and source of life and death, and it is found with the temples of God. In order to treat and cure diseases, one must search for their origins. So, if we look at the properties of yin and yang, if yin is negative, yang is positive. If yin is moon, yang is sun. If yin is dark, yang is light. If yin is earth, then yang is heaven. If yin is passive, yang is active. If yin is water, yang is fire. If yin is below, yang is above. If yin is cold, yang is heat, and if yin is growth, then yang is generation. So, these are the two things, two opposites, which are, both of them are required in the body. Sun is also required, moon is also required. Temperature has to be hot at times, temperature has to be cool at times. We have to have a maintained temperature. Okay. So, everything has to work in balance for a healthy working of the body. So, here are a few more examples, like Chinese system says that heaven was created by the concentration of yang, while earth was created by the concentration of yin. So, sometimes yang is created called to be, you can say, on a more positive side, while yin is more on the negative side. So, yang stands for peace and serenity, while yin stands for confusion and turmoil. Yang stands for destruction, while yin stands for conservation. Yang brings about disintegration, while yin gives shape to the thing. So, here it is opposite, like yang is more of entropy, while yin is giving it a shape. Water is an embodiment of yin and fire is an embodiment of yang. So, water is having the property of yin and fire is having the property of yang. Yang creates the air, while yin creates the senses, which belong to the physical body. When the physical body dies, the spirit is restored to the air and it is left to the natural environment. The spirit receives its nourishment through the air and the body receives its nourishment through the senses. So, now we come to the treatment part. Here we had the basic concept of how they have the philosophy of Chinese system, how they have analyzed or given the concept of or philosophy of Chinese system. Now, if we go further in detail that what are the other concepts of Chinese system. So, it is said that there are 4 seasons. The nature has 4 seasons. We know there are 4 seasons, okay, and there are 5 elements on the earth. So, 5 elements, they are similar to our Ayurveda. However, here the naming is slightly different. Here we have fire, water and air, which are similar to Ayurveda, but it does not have the ether. Instead, earth is divided into metal and wood. If I can correlate it, metal is inorganic while wood is organic. So, together this is earth, fire, water and air. So, these 5 elements together, they constitute the entire universe and all the individuals present here. So, they store up the power of creation, okay. They store up all these 5 elements and they have created different individuals, and these individuals have the nature of cold, which is related to metal, heat, which is related to fire, dryness, which is related to air, moisture, which is related to water, and wind, which is related to wood. So, they have correlated this. Then man has 5 senses and basically there are different the senses like joy, anger, sympathy, grief and fear are there in them. Generally the Chinese system says that generally yin, if it is yin generally depletes the anger, okay, and violent joy it depletes yang. So, they get depleted in the increase of yin or yang. These are the emotional angles. If we talk about the physical angles also, if yang is stronger, the body is hot, the pores are closed and people begin to pant, okay, they become boisterous, coarse and do not perspire. So, they become feverish, their mouth is dry. So, what has to be given in that case? We have to give substances of a yin property. Same, if yin is stronger, the person is more cold, he will start coughing, he will start shivering, and in that case we have to give certain yang property of substances. So, the treatment here has to be given where we have the opposite nature of the yin or the yang. If it is hot property, we have to give a cold substance or the cold foods. In the terms of, if we talk about if a person is having lot of yang, then he has to be given bananas or cucumbers. If he is having even more heat is getting produced, then he has to be given apples or eggplants. If the person is having more of yin, then he has to give warm fruits like the bell peppers or the cherries. If the yin is increasing, then he has to given the cinnamon bark or garlic or ginger, etc. So, various foods have been identified based on their nature of cold, cool, warm and hot. And the treatment can either be like you can give pungent herbs to induce perspiration and promote circulation, or you can give sour drugs which help the functions of constriction, obstruction or solidifying the like if he is suffering from diarrhea, then you can help in solidifying the internal substances. So, treatments can be given, we can use sweet herbs, we can use salty herbs, we can use bitter herbs. So, these sweet, salty and bitter herbs, they are correlated to the cold, cool, warm and hot nature, okay, and that is how they are given for the treatment. So, here after absorption, herbs can move in 4 directions. If they move upward, they will help in you can say they have the they move in upward direction, they will be treating the diseases on the upper respiratory tract. If they move downward, they will help in treating those problems, ailments which are there in the lower extremity of the herb. If they move towards the skin, they will be helping in treatment of skin related problems. If they move inward, then they will be able to treat the digestive related problems. So, this is how, depending upon the pharmacokinetic profiles of the drug, we can say that how the drug is going to treat the herbs. So, again in Chinese system of medicine also we are using many herbs, and to formulate them and do the quality control of the drug, a role of pharmacognosis becomes very important. So, thank you very much for this lecture. Now, we will move to the next slot of this chapter which deals with the phytochemical ingredients. Thank you very much.